Rockets here at home in this Western Conference matchup live here in Houston. Glad to have you with us for more NBA action. I'm Kevin Harlan, introducing the rest of the 2K broadcast team. Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and sideline reporter Doris Burke. Take a look at the Mavericks. They've got a good chance to prove themselves in what is going to be a very difficult part of their schedule coming up. Guys, with the bulk of their games coming up on the road, it's going to be tough.
Well, these two teams know each other so well, Kevin. And you know the old expression, familiarity breeds contempt. I think that's the case. Usually these games between these two clubs get a little testy.
Yeah, there's always a little something extra at stake, Steve, when it's a game between these two squads. It should be really a lot of fun.
Here are the starters for Dallas, brought to you by State Farm. Sean Marion and Dirk Nowitzki, both excellent players at the forward spots. Beaubois and Carter pair up in the back. And it's Kaman in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. On for the Rockets. White is the 4 with the Sheik at the 5. Harden out there with Jeremy Lin. And it's Parsons in at the small forward. Oh, and a fast break for the Rockets. Here's White. Here's a Sheik. Goes up and lays it nice and easy.
Nice way for him to get started here early.
And guys, hopefully a sign of things to come from him here.
And Beaubois gets to Carter. Carter right side. That's good.
Nice bounce back year for Vince Carter last year. I think he found a nice role with the Mavericks. Coming off the bench, he shot the ball well, especially from long distance.
Now we'll go to Doris Burke, who had a chance to talk with head coach Kevin McHale.
Thank you, Kevin. When we spoke just a moment ago about their offensive game plan, he said they'll try to keep it varied. He told me in order to be successful against a good defensive team like this one, you can't get too predictable. If you do that, they can really be disruptive. Guys, expect a little subterfuge and misdirection in this one, trying to keep the defense honest.
And Doris, as always, thank you. So, Steve, do you agree with Coach's game plan here, given how tough the D is that they're going to go up against?
Yeah, I do. I mean, a huge part of your game plan has to be focused on their D. And I think he's right to put that much emphasis on it.
Yeah, I agree with you guys because they are that good defensively. So you've got to worry about that and game plan for that. And then trust that your guys will execute what needs to be done.
And there's the 3-second violation.
And guys, for Carter last season, I think he got off to a really strong start, but he did wear down a bit as the season went on. He had a good year from long range, but his field goal percentage as a whole dropped quite a bit. Just not quite able to finish as much around the goal as he did in his younger days.
Harden can't hit.
Boy, he had a good look at that one. You hate to miss that shot.
Takes a 3. And it's Carter missing. Well, it was the Dallas Mavericks winning their last game against the Suns in Phoenix.
And the story of the game, Kevin, was the outside shooting. It really lit it up from three-point range.
Well, they were giving far too many open looks from out there, Steve. I mean, they were shooting warm-up jumpers. That's what happens when you play a team that's weak on the perimeter defensively.
Well, when you think about Rick Carlisle in his 11th season as an NBA coach, you think about consistency. Believe it or not, he's been to the playoffs in 9 of his 10 previous seasons as a head coach. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Now here's Lin. He had 22 points in the win against the Spurs in San Antonio.
It wasn't just offense either, Kevin. He was so disruptive defensively. I don't remember how many steals he had, but, man, he was dominant out there.
Mavericks have gone 50% from the field, hitting 3 of 6 since the opening tip. Marion, and that one's good. And Carlisle on a new contract, his last 4-year contract ending last season, but the Mavs were adamant that he wasn't headed anywhere.
Yeah, Carlisle, fantastic coach, for Dallas, been a great fit, earned that 4-year extension with, winning that championship. But I think he has turned into one of the best coaches in the NBA, Kevin.
And Beaubois kicks to Carter. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Well, the Rockets just missed being part of the playoffs. Based on the record, the 9th seed in the West. That doesn't get you anything but a number next to your name, really, and good luck for next year. They were in it, though, right until the end.
And he makes the first. Going back to the Rockets, only 2 games back of Utah for that 8th and final conference playoff position. Steve, looked like they just kind of ran out of gas near the end of the year.
Well, they were right there down the stretch, Kevin, but Utah was a little bit stronger. I think injuries may have played a little bit of a factor as well for Houston, but this is a team that you expect to be in the mix year after year.
Harden with it, and it's Carter picking him up. Lynn against Beaubois. Now here's Lynn. He's tightly guarded. Shoots over Beaubois. Lynn's shot is off.
Well, one of the great stories that we've ever seen in the NBA took place a year ago. Linsanity, they called it. The emergence of Jeremy Lin as the Knicks point guard. Pretty amazing. He had been cut several times, but the Knicks thrust him into that starting role, and he just took off with it.
And here's White. Vince Carter getting it to go from deep. And it's good. Mavericks leading by 5. Deflects the pass. Beaubois against Lynn. Good D by Beaubois. And Steve, you go back to that incredible start for Jeremy Lin. First player on record to have at least 20 points and 7 assists in his first 5 starts.
And let's dig into those numbers even a little more, Kevin. In those 5 games, he set the record for the most points scored by a player in their first 5 starts since the NBA-ABA merger back in 1976. Remarkable.
Well, his playmaking is off the charts, and the beauty of that, Kevin, is his teammates know that. So they're going to work hard to get open, knowing that if they do, he'll find them for an open look.
And he really is a tough guy to go up against because he throws his weight around so often and with reckless abandon. I mean, it can really wear you down physically.
Here is Harden following the score by Vince Carter. He dishes it to White.
Great finish there, Kevin. Took it strong to the cup.
Yeah, an aggressive two-handed jam.
And that's the kind you like, especially in traffic. You got to make sure.
That was a nice replay brought to you by Sprite. 1:16 left in the first quarter. Mayo kicks to Kaman, passes it to Carter, and the layup is good. Carter's got 16 points.
Right from the get-go, they've been shooting the ball extremely well.
Well, I think it's a matter of just continuing to knock down shots like that. They'll get the W here, no question about it.
Gets it to go.
Nice soft touch to drop that one in.
Mayo, and that's for 2. And it's White with the rebound.
Well, they're able to track that one down, but they've got to pick up the rebounding a little bit here.
Yep, and that's something to keep an eye on, guys. I mean, it's still early right now, and those slight disadvantages can grow if you don't make the proper adjustment.
Now, here is Harden. O.J. Mayo missing his last shot. Just 4 to shoot. Houston needs to get a shot. And Harden gets it to go in on the assist by Sheik. He's got 5.
Well, everyone seems to have the hot hand here early on.
You know, if they keep up this scoring pace, we'll definitely see some big point totals from both of these teams.
Carter, the pass to Nowitzki. And out of bounds as the Rockets gain possession. Here is Harden. He's coming off a 25-point game against the Spurs in San Antonio. Inside. Here's Parsons. And no good. Had a chance to take the lead. And so, guys, what's your take so far on the Mavs?
I was impressed with their transition game, guys. They really got out and ran the lanes.
Yeah, they did. I mean, no better way to get easy buckets than through fast breaks.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade as the second quarter gets going. On the court for the Mavericks, Carter and Marion fill out the wings. Chris came in out there with Elton Brand, and it's Mayo in at the point guard position. 6 to shoot. White dishes to a Sheik. That is good. A Sheik's got his second bucket of the game to go.
Yeah, we're now starting to see them get some high percentage shots in the paint.
Yeah, that's 5 of their last 6 buckets inside the lane, so they're getting really high percentage looks down there.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Guys, Chris Kaman coming to Dallas this offseason in free agency. And interesting to see him playing alongside Dirk Nowitzki in the front court. They have some experience playing together on the German national team. Though Kaman was born in the United States, his great-grandparents were German, and he acquired dual citizenship in 2008. A one-year contract for Kaman leaves the Mavs with some flexibility, and he can certainly help them inside, guys.
And at 7 feet tall, he's got the size to do it. Thanks, Doris.
Coming out of the Southwest Division can be extremely tough on teams. I mean, last season no different, as the Mavericks had to go up against a very, very tough division last season.
All right, a chance to check out some stats for James Harden. His last month of basketball has been fantastic. He was 7th in scoring, and he's just been so consistent from the foul line, ranking in the top 15 in free throw percentage.
And you don't become a top 10 scorer, Steve, without a variety of offensive moves and a whole bunch of tricks in your bag. So he makes for wonderful highlights the way he can score.
You're right, Clark. Spurs were great. Memphis was solid. Mavs ended up 3rd in the division, even though they played fairly good basketball season long as a defending champion. It is a deep division. Steve, one of the best, I think, in the NBA.
And now Anthony Davis has arrived in New Orleans, so it's just going to get better and stronger. So it's no joke playing in the Southwest.
We're now about 2 minutes into the second quarter. Mayo kicks to Carter. Lets it go from deep. That's good. Carter's got 19 points.
Great job from behind the arc this quarter. I mean, shooting just under 60% for the game. I mean, that's smoking.
Lynn with it. Now Mayo defending. He kicks it to Harden. Gives him the lead pass.
You know, the dunk was great, but I didn't care for that interior defense there, guys. It was non-existent.
You're right, Clark. You know, it was way too easy. I don't think the coach either. Look at that place.
It doesn't get much easier than that. They have got to tighten up their defense. That was embarrassing.
And then Carter with the jam.
All business there, not messing around one bit. Flushed it right with one hand.
He never does, Clark. He never does.
Well, that's kind of his trademark, those slams like that one.
And now the first timeout called here for the Rockets. And this is the first time they've matched up with the Mavericks this year.
And these guys were a huge thorn in their side last season, sweeping the season series as both teams battled for a playoff spot.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Jones checked in for White, and Delfino has subbed in for Chandler Parsons. Cunningham is checked in for the Mavericks.
That was a hole punch jam there, Kevin.
Nice finish.
Yeah, you got to love the way he just capped off that strong move.
And the powerful one-handed slam.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you do it. Find a gap in the defense and attack that rim with force.
He is so good at doing just that.
Maybe as good as anybody. Just so athletic and strong.
Harden the pass to Jones. Back to Harden. And it's sent back by Kaman. Here in the second quarter, just under 3.5 minutes played. These bubble team matchups are so important, Clark, down the stretch.
Kevin, you're exactly right. That other team fighting for the 8th seed is your enemy. Losses against that team hurt you twice as much because you take a step back while they get a step closer. It's almost like a 2-game swing.
Cunningham kicks to Mary. The rebound by Omar Ashiq. Ashiq's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Lynn dishes to Jones. Alley-oop pass. Harden can't hit.
So hard not to go for it when you see that chance at the alley-oop.
Bet he wishes he hadn't, though.
You know, Sean Marion still is an amazing athlete, even in his mid-30s. So quick off his feet, and he can play either the 3 or the 4 position. Versatile defender, excellent team player.
Mayo, that's good.
Boy, after struggling in the first quarter, he's come alive here in the second.
Rockets trail by 4. Lynn with it. Right now averaging 21 points a game. Harden kicks to Jones. Gets the bucket. Jones has got his first 2 points of the night.
And guys, I think the key for Marion being able to play the 3 or 4 position is he's a terrific rebounder for a small forward. So you can play him at the 4 in a small ball situation and not lose too much on the glass. That's valuable when you've got a small forward that rebounds like a power forward.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. White, he's checked in for Jones. Chandler Parsons comes in for Carlos Delfino. And Tony Douglas is subbed in for Jeremy Lin. And it's blocked. An even 3-on-3 break. And Sean Marion with the slam. And here are the Rockets now. They trail by 6. Their last game, a win against San Antonio, looking to carry that into this one.
And they drew so many fouls in that game, guys. That was one area that really stood out when you watched it.
Yeah, guys, to me, that was just a case of lack of discipline on the other side. I can't say any more than that on it.
Mayo, that's good.
What a performance, Kevin. It seems like every three he shoots is falling for him. He's in the zone.
Harden against Carter.
Yeah, he's struggled with his shot this quarter, and he's got to find a groove somehow.
In low to Brand. The Rockets pull it in. And now running up the court, Douglas pushing it up. White the pass to Douglas. Gets it to go. And 11 points for James Harden. And it's the Mavericks with the ball. It's a 5-point game. Brand dishes to Nowitzki. And it's Dallas with another.
Tell you what, he can be an offensive force when he's on top of his game, guys, and he usually is on top of his game.
And that concludes the first half. The Mavericks on top, up by 7.
The Mavericks.
And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
And it's been a great game out in Houston. Thanks for joining us. Mavericks playing well up to the break. A losing record for them in this early NBA season. They'll try to battle back with a win here. Vince Carter not having much difficulty scoring against the Rockets. Seems like everything's
And the second half about to start here in just a few moments.
What a great game for Vince Carter in this one. He's got 21 points, and he's nailed 3 from long range. That's 9 points from deep.
Well, I like that he's not hesitating to pull the trigger. I mean, if he's got room, he's going to take the shot. He's putting some fear in this defense.
White is the 4 with the Sheik at the 5. Jeremy Lin is out there with Harden, and it's Parsons in at the small forward position. That's the 5 to begin the second half for Kevin McHale.
And all 10 of their last points have come inside the paint, so defensively you've got to make an adjustment.
Yeah, and you got to do a little more to stop it, too. I mean, it's coming way too easy for him. At some points, you just got to buck up and say it's not going to happen.
I think one of Lin's best attributes, Kevin, is his ability to score and finish through contact. You know, he's got deceptive strength in his lower body. He's able to maintain that balance in the paint even after he gets bumped and finish plays.
Well, that balance you talk about with the added strength helps him defensively as well because he's underrated at that end. He might not have the size and reach to lock guys up, but he plays a very smart defensive game.
You know, a lot of people predicted that the Mavericks defense would really collapse without Tyson Chandler last year after he left for New York as a free agent. But their defensive numbers were solid. They were really good. So the structure and the foundation that Rick Carlisle has built has been able to withstand some of those personnel losses.
Second half is flowing nicely so far on offense. 75% from the field is what they're shooting.
Nowitzki for 3. Good. Nowitzki's got 5.
You know, he's a rarity in the NBA, guys. A big man who can launch it from deep.
All right, a chance to check out some stats for James Harden. This is the kind of play they love to see from him when he's just controlling things out there. 3rd in scoring, and of course he's been extremely accurate from the free throw line, ranking in the top 5 in the NBA in free throw percentage.
And Steve, you mentioned his unbelievable points per game ranking. I mean, this guy's a guy I would call buckets.
Well, you look at the stats for the Mavs, Steve. Dallas, the second best team in the West when it came to opponent field goal percentage. That's a very good mark for them.
Excellent mark, Kevin, and they've come a real long way from when the Mavericks were viewed as a team that only scores and doesn't really play any defense. Rick Carlisle, one of the outstanding coaches in the league, really helped reshape them.
And as Steve said, that's including losing Chandler.
Yeah.
They were able to still play good defense.
That's right.
Took him no time at all on that one. And that's now 26 points for Vince Carter.
Well, another uncontested three there. They've got to make some kind of an adjustment. I mean, they're giving up way too many open threes.
Well, the last 5 hoops, 3 have come off wide open three-pointers for him. So it's one thing to give up one, but you start giving three-pointers up in bunches, you're in big trouble.
Nowitzki right side. Over Harden. That's good from Nowitzki on the assist by Carter. Carter's got his 4th assist in this one.
And we have seen the intensity pick up big time here in the second half.
Well, you can feel the desire from both teams that they really want to win this.
Lynn against Beaubois. Harden inside the three-point line. Offensive rebound. And White kicks to Ashik. The shot from the low post is good. Ashik's got 6.
You know, it's a plus to get good looks in the paint. And when you can get them, you got to score.
Now let's take a look at the list of players who have been absolutely lighting it up. These are the NBA scoring leaders over the last 10 games. James Harden, 3rd.
Kevin, you know, the season is 82 games long, and anything can happen. But I tell you what, if he keeps scoring like this, the rest of the season is going to look very good for his ball club.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Monty Eunice is checked in for White. Delfino comes in for Chandler Parsons. And Tony Douglas is subbed in for James Harden.
Elton Brand is one of those players that just plays a lot bigger than he really is. He's only about 6'8", but his wingspan is 7'4". So he's just a guy who can shoot over the top of people. Doesn't look like he's going to get it done, but he does.
Douglas with it. Jones covering. And it's blocked by Kaman.
Well, unfortunately, he just has not been able to produce offensively to this point.
Jones kicks to Kaman. Back to Jones. Delfino with the steal. The pass to Douglas. Over Brand. And the rejection by Brand. And here we go. The Mavericks in a fast break. Elbow shot. Good as the jump shot falls. Brand's got 4 this quarter. Rockets trail by 7. And more in the NBA, you know, Clark, you hear that term wingspan or arm span.
Yeah, and there's another one we can add to that. Standing reach. That's how high you reach extends above the floor. For Elton Brand, he has a 9'2" standing reach, comparable to a center.
Kaman's shot is good. There's a minute 34 left in the 3rd quarter of the game. Delfino kicks to Lynn. Douglas shoots from 14, and that one's good. Douglas has got his 2nd bucket of the night.
You know, for so long and so many years, the Rockets have been built around a dominant center, Kevin, and haven't been a run-and-gun team, an up-tempo team, but last year under new coach Kevin McHale, they ramped up the pace quite a bit.
Delfino kicks to Monty Eunice. Kicks it to Ashik. Over Brand. Shot is off. And it's Dallas the other way. Here's Crowder. A chance to extend the lead to double digits, but it's no good. Back to the Rockets, you see their roster, and they are so athletic. So to make the most of it, they wanted to catch teams in transition a bit more. I thought it was a pretty good way of attacking teams there, Steve.
Yeah, I like what Kevin McHale did a year ago. They finished 3rd in the league in field goals attempted. And so they really tried to attack and force teams to respond to that transition offense. That's what you have to do, especially when you don't have great half-court superstar players who can take over a game. Super defensive play. I mean, if that pass gets through, it's probably 2 points.
And he knew that. He knew if it gets through, it's a score, so that's why he sold out for it and got a hand on it.
Looking at who's out there now for the Rockets. Smith checked in for Ashik. White comes in for Monty Eunice. Chandler Parsons, he's checked in for Carlos Delfino. And it's Harden in for Tony Douglas.
Boy, I tell you what, guys, he's an extremely strong finisher. I'm surprised he wasn't able to power that through the defense. How about the nice, exquisite timing on that alley-oop? Well done.
Yeah, 2 teammates in total sync right there. You're right.
Very harmonic.
Oh, man, it was beautiful. The pass was delivered right to the hoop. Set up that jam.
Al Harden, 15 points in the game. Left side, Lynn. Great D that time from Brand.
I think in that situation, that was a nice try to create some.
As the fourth quarter gets rolling here, let's check out our Sprite uncontainable game. Let's go to Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Kevin, our uncontainable game in this one, the stretch by the Mavericks. It took them until the third period to really find their groove, but once they did, they ran with it and never looked back. A great surge by them. They hope to carry to the end of the game.
Doris, thanks. And I think we can all agree the whole flow to their game sort of gelled at that point. Don't you think, Steve?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Everything came together for them all at once. I mean, their shots started dropping one after another at one end, and then at the other end, they went into lockdown mode defensively.
Yeah, it was truly a good stretch for them, Steve. All they needed were a few things to kind of click into place, and then they were rolling on all cylinders.
On the floor for Dallas starting the fourth quarter here. Sean Marion and Dirk Nowitzki, the forwards. Carter is out there with Mayo, and it's Curry in at center. And the foul called on Sean Marion. That is his first foul of the game. Tony Douglas is checked in for Jeremy Lin. And Dallas also making a switch. Rand's checked in. Douglas, the pass to Harden. He feeds it to White. And he finishes nicely on the layup.
Boy, they are really getting chewed up inside here. I mean, that's 8 of the last 10 points they've given up inside, in the paint.
Yeah, and the paint should be sacred ground for a defense. I mean, you can't let anybody just trot in there and get an easy bucket. Offensively, just hammering away in the paint.
And that's 10 straight points inside, too.
To the paint. Stolen by Carter. And here we go. The Mavericks on a fast break.
You know, Houston for the last several years has tried to get a star player on their roster. But it's so difficult to do. There's only about 10 of them in the entire league. But what they've done is they've put a lot of good players on the floor. They've built their asset base, and they're poised to make a deal when the right one comes their way.
Jeremy Lin, he's checked in for Tony Douglas. And Dallas with a change here, too. Adi Bobois is checked in for O.J. Mayo. Here's White. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. Really, if you don't have a top 10 player in the league, you just continue to gather talent, and that's what the Rockets have really done.
Yeah, and you call that stockpiling assets. If you aren't building around someone, then you get as many good assets as you can because they're always movable. And I think Houston has done a nice job with that. They're in a position to.
Oh, man, that was unreal.
Mark it up. Pretty significant lapse there on the defensive end, guys.
Yeah, those are the ones, you just can't allow that.
No, if you're giving up dunks and layups defensively, you're in huge trouble.
And that last replay, courtesy of Sprite. Bobois against Land. Lobs it up there. Mavericks leading by 14. Here's Bobois. Gets it to go.
Just too easy. They're getting whatever they want down there.
You said it, Steve. 5 straight field goals inside for them. The defense has to clamp down here.
Harden kicks to Ashik. Outside, Lin shoots over Bobois. Lin's shot is off.
And that rebound pushes their margin to +5 on the boards. Solid job on the glass.
Well, it's just part of what they've done here to build this big lead, and it shouldn't be overlooked. I mean, rebounding is a huge part of this game.
Harden can't hit. The Mavericks have gone an outstanding 4 of 5 from the field in the fourth quarter so far. And it's Carter missing. Rockets trail by 16. Lin dishes to a shooter. In for the dunk. And the Mavericks call time here.
Chandler Parsons was really an amazing story last year, guys. Taken in the second round out of the draft from Florida. But the Rockets got themselves a gem, an impressive player, good all-around offensive skilled guy.
Oh, look out!
Well, the thing that comes to mind to me is how effective he is around the rim. I mean, he can finish with either hand and finish strong.
And I'll say something else, Steve. He is one of the most powerful finishers we have in this league. He takes it to the rack hard.
Lynn against Beaubois. Outside, Lynn feeds it to Parsons. Lots of room. Shot's good. Mavericks leading by 14. And there's the feed to Kaman. The dish now to Carter. And it's blocked by a Sheik. 3-on-3. Here's White. Mavericks with the rebound. Kaman's got rebound number 5 here tonight. Marion kicks to Carter. Gets the bucket. Carter's got 34.
I can imagine they're going to hear an earful about this next stop. I mean, that's 3 straight field goals given up right in the middle of the lane. Inexcusable.
Well, defense starts at the rim. I mean, you want teams shooting the ball from the outside, and that's not happening. They're just giving up everything inside.
Pass to Harden. Shot clock at 6. Houston moving the ball around. With the clock winding down. Good. Harden's got 19 points. Mavericks have gone 6 of 9 on their field goal attempts since the start of the fourth quarter. Beaubois, Marion. Rockets with the rebound. Harden's got his 5th rebound right now in the game. Here's Lynn. And it's sent back by Kaman. And here's the fast break. Beaubois, the pass to Marion. That's good. Marion's got 4 this quarter.
That's 4 straight field goals coming inside the paint.
Boy, they're taking it right to him, Steve, and the defense has really been way too passive for my liking.
Harden can't hit.
Boy, the effort was there, but he just couldn't quite fight his way through traffic.
Beaubois dishes to Kaman. Hit his leg. And the official saying it was kicked. .124 left to play in the final quarter. Gets it to go.
Now you can put this one in the W column. I mean, this is locked up now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, they closed this game out exactly like they needed to.
Harden kicks to Lynn. Trying to break that ice-cold streak. Chris Kaman with the rebound. Kaman's got his 7th rebound of the game with that last one. And then Carter with the jam.
They're really playing well at both ends, offensively and defensively, guys.
Yeah, it's been a complete performance, Steve. You look back on this game, it's one that you would hope to be able to build on.
And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back.
Boy, just a wasted possession. You can't afford any of those.
And trying to narrow the gap here, certainly not a good time to get sloppy.
Houston, a whole new 5 on the floor. And the Mavericks will go for a different look here. James checked in for Kaman. Brand comes in for Dirk Nowitzki. Crowder, he's checked in for Sean Marion. And it's Cunningham in for Vince Carter. Douglas, the pass to Moniunas, off his foot, and it's being called a kickball. Out of bounds, Dallas will take possession.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
The Mavericks shooting wonderfully up to this point, 67%. Cunningham dishes it to James. Dishes to Cunningham. Fires from deep. Another 3 for Dallas.
And that one should remove all doubt about the outcome of this game. This thing's over.
Now it's just a matter of what the winning margin's going to be.
And the dunk by Smith. 34 seconds left in the game. Back to Beaubois. The jump hook. Rockets with the rebound.
Yeah, looks like this one's out of reach.
Yep, just a matter of the clock running out now.
Offensive rebound. He dishes it to Douglas. The second chance effort. The shot is off. Here is Cunningham. Passes it to Beaubois. From deep. Off on that one. So we see the Mavericks taking the win here. They put on a show tonight, thoroughly controlling each end of the floor.
Hey, what more can you ask?
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation